Rain rattled against the courthouse windows like impatient knuckles drumming on glass. The hallway smelled faintly of old paper and floor polish, the kind that clung to your clothes long after you left. Lawyers hurried past in crisp suits, whispering heatedly into phones. Clerks pushed carts overflowing with files that looked heavier than the stories they contained. And in the middle of it all stood Maria Alvarez, small, trembling, painfully alone, her fingers clutched a thin folder to her chest, though she knew it held nothing that could save her. A maid's uniform wasn't made for courtrooms, but it was the only thing she had that looked remotely respectable. Her dark hair was tied back neatly, though strands had escaped, sticking to her damp cheeks. 3 days ago, her biggest worry had been whether the Whitmore children would track mud through the hallway she had just finished mopping. Now she was facing charges that could destroy her life: grand larceny, obstruction, evidence tampering, words that didn't belong anywhere near her name. Maria inhaled shakily. Her entire world had collapsed so quickly she was still trying to understand how it had all gone wrong. She hadn't stolen anything. She hadn't even touched the cabinet where Mrs. Whitmore kept her jewelry. But the police had found the missing necklace sitting on top of her cleaning cart as if she had placed it there in a moment of idiotic triumph. No one believed her. Not even the neighbors who pretended to like her. And worst of all, she had no lawyer. No money. No family. No one to speak on her behalf. Until now, she was completely alone, defendant Alvarez. The judge's voice snapped across the hallway like a whip. Judge Kerrigan stood in the open doorway of courtroom 3B, eyebrows raised impatiently. Your attorney still hasn't arrived? Maria swallowed hard. I don't have one, Your Honor. The judge frowned. This is a felony case. You need representation. You were advised. I tried, she whispered. I don't qualify for a public defender, and I can't afford, but he'd already turned away, annoyed. A line of strangers waiting for their cases glanced at her, whispering. She lowered her eyes. Shame burned in her chest, even though she'd done nothing wrong. A soft voice broke through the noise. Ma'am? Are you okay? Maria blinked, startled. A young girl stood in front of her, maybe 10 years old, backpack slung over one shoulder. Curly dark hair framed her small face, and her brown eyes were full of innocent concern. Maria forced a smile. I'm all right. Thank you. The girl nodded and hurried back to the tall man waiting by the elevator, a broad-shouldered man in a navy jacket, with a quiet, watchful presence that seemed to absorb the chaos around him. Maria had seen him before, usually in the family court section, always with the little girl beside him. She didn't know his name, but he was looking at her now, directly, intently. There was no judgment in his eyes, only understanding. He approached her slowly, his daughter padding beside him. Hi, he said gently. I'm Daniel. This is my daughter, Lucy. Maria's throat tightened. She tried to speak but couldn't at first. Maria, she finally managed. Lucy offered a small wave. Hi, Miss Maria. Maria nodded, blinking fast. She didn't want to cry in front of strangers. We heard, Daniel said quietly. You don't have a lawyer. Maria stiffened, embarrassment rushing through her. No. I can't afford one, and are you being forced to represent yourself in a felony case? She nodded, unable to meet his eyes. Daniel exhaled, running a hand through his hair. He seemed angry, but not at her. Angry at the situation. At the unfairness. I'm not a lawyer, he said, but maybe I can help. Maria looked up sharply. Help? Why would you? Daniel held up a hand. It's okay. I get why you're cautious. He pointed at the folder she held. That's all you have for your defense? She laughed bitterly. Defense? I don't even know where to begin. Then let's begin together, he said. Something about the way he said it, steady, calm, without hesitation, made her chest ache. Nobody had spoken to her like that in days. Daniel, her voice wavered. What can you possibly do? He looked down at Lucy, who gave him a small encouraging nod. Daniel's voice dropped lower. Maria. I wasn't just in the army. My job wasn't just fighting. She frowned. What did you do? I was an analyst, he said softly. Intelligence division. I specialized in patterns. Inconsistencies. False narratives. My work uncovered things people tried very hard to hide. Maria froze. A hidden genius. Some had once called men like him people who could see lies disguised as truth. You're like an investigator, she whispered. He nodded once. I've helped a lot of people who were trapped by the wrong story. Maria's breath trembled. And now you want to help me? Yes, he said simply. She looked away, overwhelmed. Why? She whispered. You don't even know me. Because I've been in your position, he said. Because people like the Whitmores don't get to ruin someone's life just to protect their reputation. And because my daughter, he glanced at Lucy, is learning what it means to stand up for someone who can't stand alone. Lucy stepped forward and placed her tiny hand on Maria's wrist. Daddy always helps people who are scared, she said softly. He says it's what good people do. Something inside Maria broke. Not in the painful way, more like a crack that let light in. She whispered, thank you. Daniel nodded. First question, did you ever touch that necklace? No, she said firmly. Never. Then who had access to your cleaning supplies? Maria hesitated. Anyone in the house, I guess. Other staff. The security team. Mr. Whitmore himself. Daniel's jaw tightened. But why frame you? Maria exhaled shakily. Because his wife's bracelet went missing last month. They searched all of us. Nothing was found. She told her friends that someone from the staff must have stolen it. She was embarrassed. If they pin this new theft on me, it proves she was right. Daniel nodded slowly. So you're the scapegoat. A bailiff called from the doorway at case 547, Maria Alvarez. Court is ready for you. Maria's heart thudded. Her knees weakened. Daniel stepped closer, voice steady. You won't walk in alone. I'm going up there with you. Her panic spiked. But you're not my attorney. I don't need to be, he said. I can request to speak as an expert witness. As someone who reviewed your timeline. As someone who found inconsistencies in the evidence. You found inconsistencies? Already? Daniel gave a small, almost apologetic smile. I noticed things. Patterns. And the missing hallway footage? That's the big one. Maria's breath caught. You know about that? It was mentioned to a clerk. Camera down for maintenance on the exact hour the necklace appeared on your cart? That's deliberate. Maria swallowed. So you think I'm telling the truth? He held her gaze, steady and unwavering. I know you are. Warmth spread through her chest so abruptly she nearly collapsed. He extended his hand, not for her to shake, but to hold if she needed support. Maria, he said quietly, do you trust me to help you? She took a shaky breath. Trust was dangerous, but sometimes, it was all you had left. Yes, she said. I trust you. Lucy smiled. Daniel squeezed Maria's shoulder gently together. The three walked toward courtroom 3B. People stared as they entered, the accused maid, trembling, the single dad veteran with a mysterious past, the child who believed in both of them. Maria stepped forward with a strength she hadn't felt in days, not because she knew she would win, but because for the first time since her nightmare began, she wasn't alone, and sometimes, having one person stand beside you was enough to make the entire world stop. Feeling impossible.